Hello and a very good morning to all our viewers. You're watching the morning news show on CNN News 18 with me, Sakshi Singh Litoria, here to walk you through all the top headlines from the nation and across the globe over the next 30 minutes. At the top of this segment, we have some good news and a big breaking news coming in right now. Well, it's about a huge diplomatic victory for India. The 8 former Indian Navy personnel detained in Qatar have been released by Qatar court. We are learning that 7 out of them have returned home already. The government of India has welcomed the release of these Navy veterans. 7 out of the 8, ladies and gentlemen, have returned to India and have been welcomed by our government as well. Take a look at some of the reactions that we have received from ground.
खुशी हो रही है कि वापस इंडिया पहुंच गए हम सेफ एंड साउंड और डेफिनेटली ऑनरेबल प्राइम मिनिस्टर श्री मोदी को धन्यवाद करना चाहेंगे कि उनके पर्सनल इंटरवेंशन से ये पॉसिबल हुआ।
ये वाले दिन का हम बहुत दिनों से वेट कर रहे थे और प्राइम मिनिस्टर मोदी और उनका पर्सनल इंटरवेंशन, उनका इंटरेक्शन, और एक और मौका लेना चाहता हूँ कि थैंक करूँगा एमीर को कतर के, जिनके उनके इंटरेक्शन के कारण आज हम यहाँ खड़े हैं।
We have waited almost 18 months to be back in India. We are extremely grateful to the Honorable Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi ji. It certainly wouldn't have been possible without his personal intervention and that equation with the Emir of Qatar. I think we are grateful to the Government of India, the bottom of our heart, for the every effort that has been made, and this day wouldn't have been possible without it.
CNN News 18's Abhishek Jha is joining us live on the broadcast, who has been tracking this story very, very closely. Abhishek, it's a very good step that has been taken. People are actually congratulating Prime Minister Modi and his diplomatic relationship with Qatar as well. But my question to you is about that 8th person, because we are learning that only 7 out of 8 have returned home. What about the 8th one?
It's some diplomatic or documentation work that is pending, and that is why, because the one of the person has not returned. But the good news and the huge diplomatic achievement for India's diplomats from both in Delhi and Qatar is that these 8 Navy veterans who have been languishing in jail of Qatar for about 18 months and who were sentenced already, now they have been released, and all of them will be in Delhi very soon. 7 of them have already arrived, and they have we just heard them thanking Indian government and the diplomatic outreach to the Qatar summit. We have all seen how during the COP summit, Prime Minister Modi had a small interaction with the Emir of Qatar as well. And the kind of relationship India has had with Qatar that has clearly helped achieve this major, achievement, where 8 Indian Navy veterans were under the Qatar in Qatar's jail, and there were some serious charges against them also that had resulted in some of them with a harsher punishment, but now we know that all of them have arrived, all of them have been released, and 7 of them have already arrived in Delhi.
Definitely, Abhishek, and it's a big example of the relationship that India and Emirs of Qatar actually share at the moment. Have you received any, reaction coming in from the government of India thanking maybe Qatar for releasing all these Navy personnel?
Well, the government of India has released a very small press statement that says that 7 out of 8 have already arrived in Delhi, and they have said that we appreciate the decision by the Emir of State of the Qatar to enable the release and homecoming of these nations. So clearly, kind of thanking the State of Qatar for releasing all these Indian nations who were in the jail of Qatar, and it's this kind of big achievement because we know that especially these Muslim countries, they need some very high-level negotiations to have such sentences, such life sentences, be reduced or them being released. So it needed highest level intervention, and most likely Prime Minister Modi himself was involved in this entire negotiations as to how these Navy veterans will be possibly released and safely brought back home. We have already seen in the last few years, many times Indian nationals, whoever have been trapped in whichever part of the world, Indian government has tried to bring them home safely, be it the evacuation in Yemen or in Russia-Ukraine war, or we have seen happening in Sudan also, where this conflict has risen. So Indian government has always taken care of all these people who have been struck in whichever part of the world, and this is another example where these eight Navy veterans who were a part of some, some legal hassle, and they were awarded life sentences also. They have now been released. All of them, eight of them have been released. Seven of them have already arrived in Delhi.
And when can we tentatively expect the eighth one to come back home also, Abhishek?
Well, there has not been any possible deadline, but we do understand that as soon as those documentation process will be over, the eighth person will also be here in Delhi.
Definitely, Abhishek. Thank you so much for bringing us all those crucial about that good news as far as the relationship between India and Qatar is concerned. Right.